Hello and welcome to Mamamia Out Loud. It's what women are actually talking about on Friday, the 26th of September. My name is Holly Wainwright.
I am Jessie Stevens.
And I'm Em Vernon.
And here's what's made our agenda for today. Forget high jewellery and limited edition Labubu's. The status symbol we're all chasing is our very own Netflix documentary. From Charlie Sheen to Bonnie Blue to Victoria Beckham, everybody gets one now, and we unpack why.
Plus, what do you do at night? It's the question in the Out Louders Facebook group we cannot stop thinking about.
And some trashy things to watch and some smart things to read. It is our weekly recos.
But first, Emily Vernon.
But first, there are two fashion trends that are making a comeback, and I must let both of you know about them so you don't get left behind.
You know we're not across it.
So the first one I want to talk about is eyeshadow. Have you noticed eyeshadow went missing for a few years?
Jessie was upset about it.
I was really upset. So do you, Em. We have real estate. We have real estate.
We have a lot of eyelid.
Some people have a lot of eyelid.
Yeah.
And some of us, our eyelids have been retreating to the back of our head for a while, like a shy toddler at a party.
I always think I just look a bit weird, a little bit, some might say googly, if I don't have eyeshadow on. So I mastered the art of it when I was, 15 and on YouTube.
You're very good at it.
And then the world decides that it's no longer in.
Yeah. Is that kind of part of that clean girl thing?
Yeah, it was like
straight
clean
back
girl,
hair,
no makeup. Even though when I was doing the makeup, no makeup trend, I realized there was way more effort than doing a full glam look. To look like you're not wearing makeup is quite hard.
I just look unwell and a slick back bun has never, ever suited me. So are you telling me the eyeshadow?
So eyeshadow went away for a few years, and that's mainly because runways weren't doing models with a lot of makeup. They were doing no eyeshadow. But this year it's been reported that New York Fashion Week, all the models are wearing eyeshadow again, which means that we're going to start wearing eyeshadow again, which is great for my pigmentation.
I'm so excited. I need my eyeshadow. I have so many eyeshadow palettes that have been sitting there neglected.
And they're still good. Like I've been using my eyeshadow palette from 2013.
Yeah, they never go off. So true.
Conjunctivitis incoming.
I know. Me as I'm recovering from a sty right now.
I need there must be, Kim Kardashian must have designed this, like a thing to hold my eyelids up. At all times.
I'm sure there are.
Because as you get older and your eyes get more hooded, and some people always have hooded eyes, and of course, but there are lots of makeup tutorials about how to put eyeshadow when your eyelids have retreated, but they all basically involve this. Yeah. So it's like you need to
There is tape though. So some people
wear that.
Celebrities will have tape on the side. Yeah, Doechii wears it.
All the time.
And she wears it out and about. Whereas you're meant to wear it while you do your makeup, and then you're meant to blend it in and hide it.
Oh wow, I kind of love that. Yeah. See, I reckon hooded eyes though, you only need a tiny little bit to make a real impact. You can put a little bit of colour on your eyelids, and you just look stunning. It's quite a 60s look. It's quite euphoria.
60s, the decade, not the age. Yeah. Okay, got it. Taking notes. Roger that. What else is happening?
Okay, so there is another trend that's making a comeback, and I feel like, you're going to be very excited about this one.
I'm across this.
So this was outlined by a TikToker named The Baldest Bitch.
Okay.
Great name. And this is what they said.
Don't mean to alarm anybody, but the greatest fashion trend of our generation is back. And girls, I need you to be getting on this. British Vogue just posted pictures from a dinner they did for London Fashion Week. And ladies, get ready. Jeans and a nice top. Oh, jeans and a nice top are back. And not just that. No, it's jeans. It's a nice top. And it's a pointy heel.
My DMs blew up with this video. I can't, it tells me a lot about my perceived sphere of influence that I get loads of DMs on Instagram when David Beckham does anything.
Hangs out with his bees.
Is in his garden, lots and lots and lots. A little bit of Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
But jeans and a nice top action, just.
But Holly, I've said this before, I'll say it again, what top? Because I just feel like I don't know what top. And some of these tops, I would argue, in this TikTok video, not a nice top.
Okay, a nice top is classified as something that's a tiny bit uncomfortable, and you have to be slightly concerned that you might display a nipple during the night.
It's a going out top. You've got to have a going out top, right?
So it's like a silk or something.
It might be sleeveless if you can do that kind of thing. It might be strapless if you can do that kind of thing. It might be plungy. It might have sparkles. It's a draw the eye thing, because then you can wear the same jeans that you would wear just with a
All the
T-shirt.
time.
The pointy pump is a very exciting development because
love
this
that.
is something we were doing a lot when I was younger.
You have pointy pumps.
I have a lot of pointy pumps. And again, I haven't really let them go, which just
That's
goes
good.
to show if you just hold on to the things you like
Yeah.
and you're just patient and you just lie there, it will come back around and you will be cool again before you know
I
it.
missed it. I went clubbing recently and I felt so out of place with my outfit.
Were people
you
wearing
wearing?
jeans and a nice top?
People were wearing jeans. Like the younger girls were wearing jeans. Firstly, I was the oldest one there.
Baggy jeans, skinny jeans? What kind of jeans are we talking?
Baggy jeans, baggy jeans. And the top was either a white or black top. Like it wasn't a colourful.
It's quite 90s, that look.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And were the tops tiny?
Teeny tiny tops, baggy jeans, and like a white sneaker.
And what were you wearing?
It's embarrassing. I was wearing a little
Ball
black dress.
gown. She was wearing a ball
I was wearing
gown.
a little black dress. That's usually what I wear. A little black dress with like some strappy platinum sandals.
Yeah.
And a loose denim jacket.
Oh, I think that's what I would wear
I
to a
looked
club.
geriatric.
Oh.
It was bad.
People thought I was that miserable cow that never smiled. But I do. Don't be shocked.
How do I present this with any class?
I think we're past that, Charlie.
We're past that, yeah?
You just listened to 2 snippets from the Victoria Beckham documentary trailer and the Charlie Sheen documentary trailer. Holly, are you aware that there's a new documentary coming to Netflix
I have all the alarms set
about our good friend Vicky?
about Vicky Beckham, who, I just want it on the record, I've never met Victoria Beckham, which is one of the saddest things about my life.
Yeah.
But I know people who have met Victoria Beckham. And every single person I know who has ever met Victoria Beckham says she is a complete vibe.
She's fun.
Funny. Apparently very funny, very self-deprecating and funny.
Well,
Is that a surprise?
Well, the reason why it's a surprise is, as she referenced in that trailer, because she never used to
Posh
smile.
Spice.
She was Posh Spice, and she never used to smile because she hated her teeth and blah 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 blah. People think, as she said, I'm a miserable cow. People think I'm a miserable cow, and she's not a miserable cow, as it turns out, as we're all about to find out. But why, Jessie? Why are we about to find out?
the celebrity documentary, you may have noticed, is the new celebrity memoir, except it's marketed as something that is far more objective and rigorous and prestige.
Which is
right?
what documentaries are meant to be.
That's exactly what documentaries are meant to be.
But
And so
there's a trick here.
there's a trick. Last week we spoke about AKA Charlie Sheen. Have you watched that yet,
I've
Holly?
watched it. I loved it, but it was very clearly made by Charlie Sheen.
Yes. So it's a 3-part series on the actor who has a long and complicated history with drug and alcohol abuse, not to mention the women and children who bore the brunt of it. And he spoke about that as little or as much as he wanted. It skirted over the parts that he didn't want to delve into. So did he assault his ex-wife? Did he want to talk too much about what happened with Denise Richards? But instead, he delivered us the revelations he felt comfortable with. So one of the headlines was that he has engaged in sex with other men. He is now sober. His son lives with him. He's on good terms with those exes, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and crucially, the thing is that one of the tricks of these kind of docos, as we're going to get into, which is that they look on the surface, because they're not entirely glowing. Like, you know, you still found out about all Charlie Sheen's addiction to sex workers and the copious amounts of drugs he was taking, and the fact that he was a terrible father at lots of points. Like, that's all covered. It's not like the whole thing was like, no, you've got it all wrong. Charlie Sheen has never touched crack. Like, it wasn't that. But crucially, everybody involved has Charlie's blessing to be involved, right?
Yeah.
So they are not going to, you're kind of going to get a particular picture.
It's not going to be a hit piece.
Yeah, so you've got to, these docos, if they are endorsed by the stars, as I know you're going to get to, they have to walk a line of appearing even-handed while
Yes.
they're kind of not.
So watching the documentary, did it change your opinion on Charlie Sheen?
Oh, no, not in any way. Like, but I don't really have an opinion on Charlie Sheen other than what a mess. And I walked away from that going, what a mess. I mean, like, a study in addiction, it's really interesting. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting.
Yes.
But the term that's interesting here is documentary in lots of ways.
Exactly. And the question is whether we maybe need to redefine what a documentary is, and if this is, I want to kind of work through whether this is really just a PR exercise, right? Because last weekend I came across another documentary about Bonnie Blue on Stan. Has anyone seen that yet?
I'm really conflicted about it. I want to watch it, but I also don't want to watch it.
All right.
I think it'll make me mad. I've read a lot about it.
But that's her documentary. Because the key thing about this is that, so the Beckham's documentaries were produced by David Beckham as one of the producers of the Beckham documentary. It was so successful. It
So profitable.
completely changed his profile in America, which is really crucial to Bram Beckham. Anyway, I know you'll be getting to all that. But Bonnie Blue's documentary is also Bonnie Blue's documentary.
Well,
right?
yes. And Bonnie Blue is, of course, one of the highest paid stars, was one of the highest paid stars on OnlyFans until she was kicked off. And I could talk about that for 10 years. But I want to just start with this overarching celebrity documentary. Do we have to adjust how we watch them? And is it that if you were going to write a book, if you're Matthew Perry 5 years ago and he's got his memoir that comes out, would you just do a 3-part series? Is it a way for you to have the last word?
So what happened is to documentaries, right, is that documentaries have always obviously been a very prestigious but not very profitable channel of filmmaking. And documentary makers never were really very, they weren't, very few documentaries made lots of money, filled cinemas, anything like that. Streaming has obviously completely changed the game in documentary world. It's one of the things that streamers really love. Documentaries are quite cheap to make in comparison to any kind of drama where you need to pay script writers and create sets and pay actors.
Well,
and all
often
those
the
things.
subject isn't paid.
Yeah, so documentaries are very popular for that reason. But apparently the thing that really changed the game was that one about basketball, The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Great documentary.
Now, Michael Jordan was in on that because he owned a lot of the footage and everything. So for them to be able to tell the story that they wanted to tell about basketball and that era, they needed him. And so he came to the party. And that was so successful and so prestigious and did so well that it kind of pushed this new celebrity-endorsed documentary into the forefront. And since then, of course, we've had Meghan and Harry, famously, 3-part doco on Netflix. We've had Taylor Swift's Miss Americana, sort of in the same vein. Selena Gomez has done one. Pamela Anderson has done one. J-Lo has done one. We can get to that. Colleen Rooney has done one. Robbie Williams has done one. And as we've just been discussing, now there's Beckham, which was huge. The most important pieces you need to make sure that your doco seems legit, you need a prestigious director. So David Beckham's Beckham documentary was made by Fisher Stevens. He is an actor, well known for Succession, but he's also made some very credible documentaries. He's made documentaries about climate change. He's done all kinds of documentaries. They got him to make that. It brings lots of credibility. It's going to be well made. Production values are going to be high. And he says, I want to be clear, I'm not pretending to be a journalist. Like if a journalist was doing this, it would be different. I've got a connection to the subject and I want to tell the story and I've got a certain amount of creative freedom. But because David Beckham's production company was creating it, obviously Beckham gets input. Victoria Beckham's documentary, which is also being co-produced by the Beckhams, is directed by the woman who directed the Michelle Obama documentary, Becoming. So we're talking like high level. You've got to have that kind of pedigree to pull this off well. And the Charlie Sheen doco is very high production values. They've got access to an unbelievable archive of film footage so they can use all these childhood things and a clip from every movie, which if you were just an on-the-fly, not very well-funded filmmaker, you could never make. You could never make that doco. So crucially, you've got to have a veneer of credibility and status. And you've got to sidle up to all the salacious things people want to talk about. So David Beckham's documentary, I think we talked about this on the show earlier this week, actually, but it could have completely avoided the conversation about the infidelity. It didn't, but it didn't exactly go in, right? I'm sure Victoria Beckham's documentary is going to skirt up to some of the stuff people really want to know about her, which would be body image, how she handled the infidelity, and of course now what's going on with her and Brooklyn and her kids. I'm sure it will skirt up to those things. But if an independent journalist was making a documentary about Victoria Beckham without access, You wouldn't get all the access, but you'd probably get more dirt.
And she's also the executive producer, which means that she gets to decide that scene doesn't make it. If you're an EP, you get to decide what stays on the cutting room floor.
To be fair to the documentary makers, the Fisher Stevenses of the world, they're not going to let that be entirely dictated, but it's going to be a difficult dance. So it's kind of like when Prince Harry wrote Wah, as Mia calls it, Spare, which is a brilliant book, his memoir. That was written by a very prestigious ghostwriter called J.R. Moehringer, who wrote like Andre Agassi's Open, which is widely seen as one of the best celebrity memoirs ever. And he spoke really openly about this delicate dance you have to do where you are trying to present an unvarnished version of somebody, but you're doing it with them. So I don't think Fisher Stevens was like literally, you tell me what to say, David, and I'll say it. I think it's a more complicated creative relationship than that, but it's not going to be a pushback, deeply investigative piece. But then should it be?
Yes, it should be.
Why?
Because I just feel like with a celebrity memoir, the celebrities writing the book about themselves. So I'm opting in knowing kind of what I'm going to get. Like it's them telling their story. When I hear the word documentary, I'm expecting an objective piece of research. And then when I see the celebrity's name was an executive producer, was a creator, was a co-founder, I'm like, I feel like I've been betrayed. I feel like I've been tricked into watching something thinking it's going to be objective when it clearly isn't. And I found that with the Beckham documentary because all I wanted to know was the cheating scandal and I didn't get any of that. Even Miss Americano, Taylor Swift, all I wanted to know was about her ex-boyfriends. I didn't get any of that. It's just like I just got a piece of content that made the celebrity look really, really good.
I don't agree with that entirely. I think that every piece of creative work has a point of view. Every documentary that is made is coming from a point of view, right? So even if it's about a crime or a political scandal or whatever, that you have to make a decision as a journalist, as a creator, as a writer, as whatever, like what am I including, what am I not? And very often we'll see this all the time. A true crime documentary will come out, you'll watch it all, you'll go, oh, he totally did it. And then you'll see another side of the story and you'll go, oh, maybe he didn't do it. You have to pick a point of view. I agree with you that it's sanitized to a point, but the reason I still love these docos is I still think you learn a lot about the person. You might not get to dig into the worst moment of their life, and why should you really? But I think that just watching David Beckham move around his home, his kids, his workplace, talking to people who've known him since he was a kid, you learn a great deal about him all the
But
time.
is it a documentary or is it just reality TV?
Well, that's the question, right?
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? As you were saying, there's a difference between autobiography and biography. There's a difference with memoir. And that's printed on the front. If I'm reading an autobiography, I understand that this is how you narrativize your life. But documentary, as we've come to understand it, is, you're thinking about the David Attenborough who watches The Lion for days on end and, presents what happens. But this is as though he sat down and negotiated with the lion and the lion has said, cut the bit where I ate the carcass.
Yeah. It doesn't make me look great.
Yeah.
I've got too much blood on my upper
Can
lip.
I redo that?
Yes. And it's like, on the one hand, the best documentaries, like Blackfish is one of my best, favorite documentaries. And it's about an orca and it's about the experience in captivity and all that kind of stuff. And the aim there, a prestigious documentary maker would say they are trying to find truth or a truth, right? What I'm finding a bit troubling about these documentaries is that you just have to follow the money because every documentary now is about selling something. So even just watching the trailer for Victoria Beckham, this is about her fashion line. This is about putting that back in the public consciousness.
Well, what it's actually about, I think, is watching what happened to the Beckham doco to David Beckham in America, because the Beckhams in Britain, for example, are royalty, and obviously she's got some Spice Girl cred, but that was a long time ago. It changed Beckham's game in America where he wants to operate his business. For Victoria Beckham, it's probably less about selling clothes as it is about selling beauty and skincare because she has a brand that is not it's too expensive for ordinary people, but it's not so high end that it's out of reach of everybody. And there is a middle market in America there that would be so lucrative for her if she could get everybody there wanting a Victoria Beckham serum, a Victoria Beckham eyeshadow stick. So you're 100% right. This is about breaking open market.
Yeah.
But you have to give to get. So she has to give us some insight. It's not going to be like the Kardashians where it's like 10 minutes of trailer and then maybe she cries and that's that. It's still going to be a quality product.
It's going to give us something, but even the Charlie Sheen documentary, I didn't realize this because I was like, what's that man trying to sell? Like, he's not in a new movie. He, from what I can work out, he was not paid. He was not a producer. And then what I discovered was that the day after the documentary came out, he released a book, which has become subsequently a New York Times bestseller. So I think because he had disappeared for a little while, he needed this reemergence to kind of be this big publicity campaign to put Charlie Sheen back in the spotlight, buy my book, come to my book tour, buy. There's money there for him somehow. But if you are going to invest in doing a documentary, it's like, what's in it for you, I suppose? Like, what are you going to sell?
That's why I was confused with the Bonnie Blue documentary, because from what I've seen and heard, it's mainly women watching the documentary. And I know deep down that those men who are standing in line to have sex with her do not care about a documentary about Bonnie Blue.
Okay, so I have the answer for you because I wondered this too. And halfway through that documentary, I went, she is going to make so much money off this. And the reason why is because her strategy is piss off the wives. Piss off the wives so much that the wives go home and bitch to their husbands. And if they bitch to their husbands Google Bonnie Blue and subscribe. And so her model is like—
It's fame. The model is attention.
It's just fame. And so she posts up to 200 videos across social media every day. Those accounts are getting shut down all the time. OnlyFans, remember the petting zoo thing that she was going to do where she was going to be in a glass box and let men do whatever they want to her and stream it on OnlyFans? OnlyFans went too far, you're off our platform.
Yeah.
Now, her relationship with platforms is interesting because she does need the platform as much as they sort of need her. So she moves to a different platform, which is named in the documentary. And this is a way of her going— like it actually shows. It's a Channel 4 documentary, which is quite
relatively prestigious
in
mainstream.
The UK. And yes, there's a documentary maker who we never see, but we hear her voice and she says,
it's a female documentary maker.
I'm worried about my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter seeing this stuff. Like, yeah, Bonnie Blue doesn't care about the moral judgment. What's happened is every time you go onto Channel 4 or Stan, which is where it's streaming in Australia, you see Bonnie Blue's face. That name goes everywhere. And she's making millions of dollars a month as people just look her up. And even in that doco, you see her naked body. You see snippets of some of those videos. You understand what content she gives you. It was a genius move by Bonnie Blue to agree to make this documentary.
Well, the interesting thing about her and other creators of her ilk is that you have to exist on a few different planes. So if you follow some of those women on Instagram, you wouldn't actually have any idea of what they do. Like it'll be that get ready with me, come get coffee with me before I go to my shoot. You know, like it could be any influencer. It could be a health influencer, it could be any kind of influencer. To get to the understanding of what they're actually doing and selling, you have to go to a place that a lot of the women who are looking at that stuff aren't going to go to, you know. But it's about fame and attention. The thing that's interesting that you raise is whether or not these docos are docos and whether or not that matters. That's an interesting point, right? Because really prestigious documentary makers, like there's a very famous guy called Ken Burns, he said, no, they're not. He's like, if you're there influencing the very fact of getting these made, it means certain aspects that you don't necessarily want in aren't going to be in there, period. And that's not the way you do journalism and it's not the way you do history. And that is true. But so what? Like, I don't think that anyone is suggesting that Beckham compares to Blackfish. You know what I mean? I think it's they're saying there should be a new term for it because it's not reality TV. It's not necessarily documentary making.
I think it's just a visual memoir.
They say it's it's called non-fiction entertainment, and that's what it should be called, right? But the thing is there's something a bit pearl clutchy, I think, about people going, well, it's not really a documentary, when it actually is letting documentary makers make lots of money. because documentary makers never have. They make their Fisher Stevens says he learned about the power of celebrity when he made a climate change doco, and it was his third one, and Leonardo DiCaprio appeared in it, not for the whole thing, but and that was the one, of course, that got the streaming deal, that got the distribution, because the power of celebrity gets your message out there. And he says that since Beckham, his phone just rings constantly with celebrities saying, will you make one of those about me? Will you make one of those about me? It's not necessarily a puff piece. It's somewhere in between. Like it's somewhere in between. Because, and when you think about it, in an age where celebrities and powerful people completely own their message, look at Taylor Swift going on her boyfriend's podcast, right? To launch her album. Celebrities have learned and are used to owning their message through social media. Why would they subject themselves? I mean, our wonderful co-host Amelia Lester, I remember she said, I'm not going to listen to that Travis Kelce interview with Taylor Swift because I don't like interviews not done by journalists. And that's a really interesting line, because I'd almost forgotten that most of the people doing the long form celebrity interviews that we're listening to now, of course, they're not journalists. That's not what this is. It's something different. And it does feel a little bit like, I don't mean this about Amelia, but like in being a bit too, oh, well, these aren't really documentaries. If I still get a glimpse into somebody powerful and far removed from me's life, I'm still getting something from it. Like I got a lot from that Beckham documentary. I loved it. I've watched it twice. I would watch it again. And it doesn't mean it was gritty and real. It's just like I learned a lot about Beckham.
I just wonder if in a world where we all have our own platforms, if any time we make something with a distributor, it is an ad. Like, and it is. Even Taylor on Travis's podcast, it's like that was an ad for her album, which is totally fine. But I think
because why would you reveal yourself otherwise these days
if you're not getting something out of it?
Yeah.
Sometimes, I would suggest nearly all the time, the Out Louders are just iconic, right? The people who listen to this show, and I never more so, I think, than when one of our wonderful Out Louders, Renee Patricia, jumped into the Out Louders group when I was sick, I think the week before last maybe, and asked this question. What do people do at night? I was like, yes. What the hell do people do at night? She went on to say, I'm sick of mindless Netflix and scrolling on my phone. My husband and I are in the same room but aren't really interacting. What's the alternative? Chess? Puzzles? What does everyone else do? Cue hundreds and hundreds of answers.
What do people do?
Okay, here's a few examples. And then we've got to get to why this is such a very interesting question. Because obviously this is hitting a lot of people because they are all, especially if they're in couples or they're in families, they're like, we just sit and watch TV and we should be doing something else. Or not, we don't sit and watch TV, but we all do something different. We're not connecting. That's what people panic about, right? So Helen says that her husband has gone wholeheartedly into buying vinyl albums. That is what you call a classic midlife hobby. I believe that in midlife we all get assigned a hobby. We don't necessarily choose it. It just comes. For me, it was gardening, as many Out Louders know. For some others, it may be bike riding, triathlons, sourdough.
I know a lot of dads on bikes.
Yeah. Obviously, Helen's husband, he's been assigned vinyl.
Oh, that's good, because then he didn't have to he would have had the collection already.
So she says, when he puts an album on, instead of wandering off to watch TV or do my own thing, I'm making an effort to potter around him and stay in the space with him. Oh, bless. There's quite a few people who are playing board games. We play chess. We play Bananagrams or Scrabble with a wine, says Alex. Claire says we play Wordle, Connections, Strands, and mini crosswords. Brent and I did that. We do Wordle every night before we go to bed. Some people are buying magazines. People are getting quite retro. Some people are going to salsa classes. Someone's going Twilight sailing. That sounds fancy. Ali says, our nights are filled with technology, but we try to do it together. We'll watch the same show together or decide we're going to have a mindless scroll sesh. So apparently you're allowed to have a mindless scroll sesh if it's
intentional.
This is great PR for relationships, by the way.
I was going to say, right? You're like, oh, please let me at it. And some people do things like the 36 questions that lead to love, or, those that we take turns making cocktails, mocktails. Now, I need to know, because this was quite couple specific, because that was what the question was about, was kind of like, what do we do now? It's basically the question. But I think it's broader for everybody at different phases in their life. Like, what do we do at night? M. Vernon, what do you do at night?
I've fallen down this big TikTok rabbit hole of this trend that's it's called my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. And it's
I've seen that.
basically these girls post, and it's usually a girl who works in a corporate job. She usually logs off at like 6:30 or 7. And then she just gets so much stuff done.
Like what?
So she has to take the train home, and then she gets home, she feeds the dog, and then she's out again. She's going to go to the gym. She's back home. She plays with the dog. She's out again. She's meeting friends for drinks. She's back home. She's watching TV. She's doing her nighttime routine. I'm like, I do not understand how she does that.
When
How
I
many
was
hours?
more in my going out years, which obviously I'm not these days because I live in the middle of nowhere and I have other things to do, but I used to hate going home and then going out again.
Yeah,
For me, it
can't.
was like I'm either out or I'm home. But that's very impressive. Going home to feed the dog and go to the gym and then go back and then go out again. That's impressive.
So what would most of your nights look like? Like you finish up at work.
Finish
what
up
does your
at work.
ordinary night look like?
I'll usually have a work event after work, which will end around 9 p.m. 10.
How many of those do you like to have a week? Because I know you don't necessarily get to choose, but you don't have to accept every invitation. Because some outlouders might not know this, but obviously Emily Burnham is also on the spill and she
Yes.
gets invited to a lot of movies and TV launches.
beauty launches, beauty events. Back in my heyday, I feel like a few years ago, I would go to 3 to 4 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's probably 1 to 2 a week, and that's like an easy week. But then my other days will be filled with going out to drinks with friends or catching up with someone, going to the movies, going to eat. But I actually struggle. Like I inhaled this thread in the Out Louders because I actually don't do anything when I have nothing on after work. And I struggle to find something to do.
And what does that look like? What does not doing anything look like?
Literally going home, getting Uber Eats,
Mm-hmm.
going to bed. That's literally a night for me. And there was a lot of threads there's a lot of people in the thread that they were saying, I watch TV or I do this. And I feel like it's better when you have someone with you because you can't feel as guilty. Whenever I go home and I just watch a TV show by myself, I feel really depressed.
Do you?
Yeah, I get really
think
sad.
Another person holds you to account to the activity you're committed to.
Right.
So if I'm at home and Luke is not at home, then I put the show on and I'm also scrolling my phone and I'm distracted and it's not really
Yeah.
a fun activity. Whereas when it's shared, we're both engaged and we're talking about it, which feels a little bit more social.
Yeah, I like that.
What do you do at night, Jessie Stevens?
I go to the gym a couple of times a week. I'm a nighttime gym person because I'm not a morning gym person.
What time do you go to the gym?
I will go to the gym at about 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Oh, wow. I've always been in awe of people in the gym at night. Like because when I've been gym person, I'm a morning gym person. And when I walk past a gym and I see it full at like 8 p.m. or whatever, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably not good for your sleep or anything.
No,
Do
I
you
think
get
it's
energy
fine.
at that time or is
Yes.
it just something like I have to do?
Yeah, that's when I will
Right.
get a like peak in energy in a way that if I went in the morning, I would just be feeling really sluggish. I feel as though by that time I've been eating all day, like I feel fine to do it. So I'll go and do that a few nights a week, which Luca will put Luna down.
I think that's a good habit because it stops you from being doing other things like eating ice cream or drinking wine.
Oh, I was going to say,
Not that there's anything wrong with eating ice cream and drinking wine, but, you know.
well, you can also do that when you get home from the
You
gym.
can.
So then we get home and we every night have our TV show and we'll talk about it during the day. We will send each other links to things. That is the thing that we look most forward to. And we also like Luna goes to bed and then we do dinner and show.
And is it like you guys are strict on like 1 or 2 episodes? So
Yes.
you're not in a rabbit hole of like binge watching?
Yes, and phone away.
Okay.
Because that was annoying us, I think. And I've heard people say, I've heard like a psychologist say, are you going to spend your whole life sitting on the couch watching shows? And I'm like, that's what I feel like doing. Like I'm exhausted. And then when we get into bed, I don't like mindlessly scrolling TikTok. So Luca has his algorithm set for us and then he harvests. That's what he says. He says, I'm going to go out to the fields for us. He's got the softest hands because he's never harvested in his life. So he goes out to the fields and then he likes a bunch and then he says, I have a plentiful
Oh, a
harvest for you.
curated feed.
Excuse me. Your pre-bed scrolling has been curated by your husband. This
Well,
is
he
very
goes-
organised.
And is there like an end where it stops?
And also, do you watch it together?
Yes. So then he's found a bunch, which is we have very similar
Humour.
interests and like, you know, he'll just find a bunch that he knows we like and then he'll go, I have funny TikToks to show you. And then we lay there and he might have 10. And if it's not a plentiful harvest, sometimes it's 3. It's very disappointing.
Are you also judging his selection?
Yeah, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, was that an accident? I don't understand. And then we watch it together. And then at least this thing that can be really sad is kind of shared, like which feels less.
And also there's an end point, right?
Yeah,
like you're
there's an
not
end point.
scrolling
I'm
till
not
2
just
a.m.
going.
like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel sick if I scroll too long.
How
which
about
I do
you?
often.
Oh, and I always read. I always read before bed, but we were talking about this recently, Holly. I'm only getting in 10 minutes before I fall asleep at the moment, which is a
not
bit depressing.
satisfying.
It's not satisfying.
It's very different stages in your life, obviously, right? So I definitely had a phase in my life, quite a long phase in my life, where I had a literal diary and it would have had something in it every night, either a work thing or a friend's thing or a drinks with so-and-so thing or a dinner with so-and-so thing. I call this my M era. And then there was the many years, the decade or so, where everything you did at night was all around bedtime. This is my Jessie Stevens era.
Yeah.
So it's like everything's geared around that 7:30 when the kids go down or the kid goes down and you get to go and collapse on the couch. And I think we have to give ourselves grace for different rules in different phases of your life, because our Out Louders who's worried about connection with her partner is a very real thing. But it's like, I don't think you have to worry about that necessarily so much when you're in that complete, like, the little kid
Give yourself
obsession.
some grace.
Give yourself a bit
Yeah.
of grace. If you want to lie and scroll your TikTok on your own, I think you're allowed.
Yeah.
And equally, I think that if you're going out every night and you love it, like, I don't think you should be. And you are allowed to watch a TV show. Em, I want to give you permission.
Oh,
you're
thank you
very
so
social and
much.
you work hard and you're allowed to watch a TV show. Anyway, I think we digress. But these days, I'm in a different phase again because my kids are older. Bedtime isn't so much of a thing. And my daughter in particular is up later than I am often. And so that changes everything again, right? So we have different routines for different nights of the week. Like weeknights, dinner at the table. And I'm not always home because often I'm here. But if I'm dinner at the table, always together. And then like half an hour to an hour of like family TV viewing. So something we're watching together.
What are you watching at the moment?
So we might be watching Lego Masters. We might be watching a movie that we'll watch in bits over a week.
Oh,
you know what I
cool.
mean? We'll watch half an hour of it tonight, half an hour of it tomorrow night. We might watch, I don't know, with sometimes docos and things, but it's getting harder and harder to find things everybody wants to watch.
Bonnie Blue is a fun one for the
Yeah.
whole
Oh
family.
my God.
May I suggest?
My God. Brent and Billy have been watching Adolescence, actually, which I think is quite a
Yeah.
good thing for Billy to be watching at his age with adult supervision. But then on the weekends, it's different. Thursday nights, as Out Loud, is no trivia night. Trivia, so Brent and I, that's our date night, in inverted commas.
What do the kids do on date night?
They stay home. They love it because
Oh,
they're old
nice.
enough to stay home, and they love it because it means basically Billy will get to play his video games until we come home, as opposed to me being there and being, go to bed. Weekends, Brent and I will usually go and have a drink early in the evening, like 5 o'clock, sundown
Yeah.
drink together, a little catch up, and then dinner with the family and a movie. Like, it's very wholesome, but it's like,
And did you
That's what
set
you
these
do.
rules out?
we didn't set them out. The thing, like, our lives have changed a lot. Obviously, moving where we live, there isn't like lots of social stuff to do, and our friends, we are more likely to socialize in the afternoons or the daytime than nighttime very often because everyone's a drive away. Like, it's just very different living in a small town. is
Everything
very
closes
different.
early.
Everything closes early. There aren't very many places to go out for dinner. So obviously we do that, but we're more likely to do it in the afternoons. I think I used to work at night a lot when the kids were smaller. I wrote 2 books, I reckon, between the hours of 8 and 10. Like, the kids would go to bed, I'd go to bed with my laptop. But now they don't go to bed, so that's shifted. And so I might still go to bed with my laptop, but it's more likely that one of them will come in and lie down and insist on this and that and whatever. And you're like, honey, you're a teenager. Why don't you fucking what are you doing here?
There's something sacred
Yeah,
about
I used to work at
nights.
night, and I actually don't work at night so much anymore. I've changed.
Me
that.
neither.
Yeah.
I've decided that having that period as something to look forward to throughout the day, like I have chocolate every night.
Yeah.
And I go, when you have your dinner, you get your chocolate, and I just get so excited and like sit there, and it's just the little glimmers that just make me very
It is
joyful.
glimmers. It's definitely glimmers. And I think that I know that if I let myself scroll, particularly if I'm in the city and I'm on my own, to your point before, Em, I can get a bit sad.
Yeah.
And I think that watching a TV show that I've chosen to watch and I'm putting the phone away, to your point, Jessie, feels different.
So on Parenting Out Loud, we talked about using your phone, turning it into a landline. So plugging it in And that's where the phone lives when you're at home. Because if it's within hand distance, it's just all bets are off. And that's the thing that's zapping the connection to me, like more so than anything else.
I want to know, I have one more thing to ask
Okay.
you about this because somebody in this thread said, basically she was like, for fuck's sake, all you boring married people, why aren't you having sex?
I did actually wonder
She
that.
was-
I did wonder
she
that.
said-
Not one person
She
said
was
that.
like, not one person in any of these
No.
couples said they were having sex. And somebody said, I'm single. And when I look at all these people who have sex on tap and they're like wordling and doing Scrabble, she's like, why aren't you having sex?
Did you
That's
imagine
so
that people
true.
were having sex every night?
You know how hard it is as a single person to have sex? It feels like you have an opportunity that you're not taking advantage
Yeah,
of.
but that's the part that makes it fun. That it's a little bit hard.
That is not the part that makes it fun. I actually did think that when I was scrolling on that
You're
thread.
like,
and I
none
was
of these
like,
people are having
boring,
sex.
Boring. Salsa classes? You're more likely to go to salsa classes and have sex.
And to our Out Loud's eternal defense, she said, we have teenagers, which is true. It's very hard to have sex in a house with teenagers. They just wander around and open doors and everyone can hear everything. It's very complicated. Anyway, Out Louders, what do you do at night? Who's got the best ideas?
Give me some habits, some
Yeah.
good habits. We want to help set up your weekend with our very best recommendations. Jessie.
Okay, I have two.
Oh,
I have a TV show called The Girlfriend. Has anyone heard of it?
So you recommended it and I watched the first one last night
And?
my goodness, it is gripping.
yeah.
Do you remember The Perfect Couple that I think was on Netflix with Nicole
Yes,
Kidman?
I do.
It reminds me tonally of that, right? Is that it's this kind of psychological thriller family drama thing, but it's got Robin Wright, who plays the mum, and she's also the director. And basically, it is her and her son's girlfriend, and it flips perspectives. So it goes from Laura, the mum, to Cherry, the girlfriend, and it just ramps up, and you don't know who to believe in terms of what happened. So suspenseful, so fun. It's on Prime Video. So good.
It's also got some excellent, in at least the first episode, some excellent house porn in it. Because they
Oh,
live,
that house.
it's set in London and these people live in this, like I didn't even know people lived
Then they
like
go to
that.
Spain. Wait
And
till
the,
you see
like,
the
and the
house in Spain.
houses and the fashion and
They're
like
so
very,
rich.
very fun.
So fun. And look, I realise I've been going heavy on the TV, particularly the documentaries lately. So I wanted to throw in a very smart book that will make you feel good about the world. It is called Nature's Last Dance, Tales of Wonder in an Age of Extinction by Natalie Karaku. And it is about, she's an environmentalist, and this book is an antidote to the feeling of despair we all have when it comes to the climate. And I have found myself not able to read the news about the state of the world, like the anxiety I get from natural disasters, all of that. This book, the whole point of this book is going, look up and look around. And if we have any chance of saving this, we need to fall back in love with nature.
Yes.
And
I'm so here for it.
It's about hope, and it's about stories of human resilience and things that they've done to save local wildlife.
Aw.
It's about what we can learn from certain animal populations, like matriarchies.
Is it sad?
No, that's the
Okay.
thing, is it's so hopeful. And I went to her book launch.
The
and
last dance bit makes me a bit sad.
yeah, but the reason she calls it that is because she's like, when nature is under this amount of stress, it starts to do really unusual things that are incredible. And what we start to do, I remember hearing this about the Great Barrier Reef, that the worst thing you can do to the Great Barrier Reef is go, well, it's all dead now, and everyone stops going and you pull
Yeah.
the life support out. It's not dead. It's still beautiful. And we all need to just like invest in it and work out how we can visit and support so that it continues to sustain itself. But it's all about hope and basically making sure that we raise our kids to go outside and look around and go, we should just be feeling awe and wonder every single day at what's around us in order to go, this is all worth fighting for. So it's a stunning book. You can listen audiobook as well, but it's funny and it's really, really well written. It is called Nature's Last Dance. Em, what's your recommendation?
So I'm recommending a show called Gen V. It's on Prime Video. Have you watched
Is it about you?
It's not. It's not.
It's about Generation Emily
Generation
Vernon.
Me, Gen V. It is a spin-off show from the show called The Boys, which is also on Prime Video. I think I recommended it on the podcast a few years ago.
That's like a superhero show.
It's a superhero show. So The Boys for me is a show that if superheroes were real in the real world, this is the most accurately represented way superheroes can be seen. It is so gruesome, so gory, very R-rated. It is not a kid's show. Gen V is a spin-off show. So Gen V is about the next generation of superheroes, and they're all at this big university. And in the university, it's all these soups learning their powers. They're called soups, learning their powers, and they get ranked on the most powerful.
Yeah.
And whoever's the most powerful get to make it into the 7, which is kind of like the Avengers. So like the superheroes of the world. It is so good because it's just so realistic, especially with the political climate that's happening in the US right now. And it just shows like, if these men had superpowers, there's no way they'd be a Captain America. There's no way they'd be an Iron Man. They'd be like these crazy, dangerous, scary men.
Oh, wow.
And
they
they
wouldn't
d-
use it for good.
No. No one is using their powers for good. And it's just so well done.
Is it something that Holly could watch with her kids? Is it something
No,
that
your kids
okay.
can't watch it.
All
You
right.
guys can watch it by
As
yourselves
adults.
with your partners.
Okay.
But Gen V, season 2 has just come out. Really sadly, after season 1 came out, one of the main actors, Chance Perdomo, he passed away in a motorcycle accident. He was one of the biggest cast members. He was brilliant. And I think they've done his storyline very tastefully in season 2. But yeah, it's a spin-off show that's part of the main show, but it's not one of those spin-off shows where you feel like you don't need to watch it. Like if you don't watch the spin-off show, the main show, the next season won't make sense. Like
Okay.
they're very connected, but it's just so good. Like I need everyone to watch it because I can't talk to anyone about it because no one's watching it.
Okay,
So please
sounds
do.
brilliant.
Please do.
Love it.
Oddly, my recommendation is kind of connected to what Jessie just talked about awe and nature, because I'm recommending a piece that Julia Baird wrote in the 9 newspapers this week. Everybody knows who Julia Baird is. She is an amazing Australian writer, podcaster, journalist, author, etc. And she writes and talks a lot about awe. And this week she had a column that was about a list of all the tiny things in life that you love. And that might sound sort of twee and unimportant and like a bit saccharine somehow. But it really connected with me, and I'm sure many, many, many other people, because gestures around the state of the world, right? Like, I know I'm not suggesting in any way that we should be putting our heads in the sand about some of the really scary shit that is going on everywhere. I think that's obviously a very privileged position. And I think that we should all be doing whatever we need to do to make ourselves feel right about that in terms of donating our time, campaigning to our politicians, all of that stuff. But I also catch myself, and I know I'm not alone in this, listening to the news or scrolling my phone lately, and every story then spins me into an existential angst that will go into, but my children, but the world, but this, but that. And I just find myself spinning. And I know so many other people do that too. And the point of this list that Julia Baird writes about, and she was inspired by Andrea Gibson, who's an amazing American poet who passed away earlier this year.
I've been reading their poetry. It's incredible.
Yes, because they wrote one of their final Substack poems, I guess, before they passed, was about this, about holding on to the little things you love. It's not about ignoring the big stuff. It's about grounding yourself in what matters. And obviously Julia Baird is a beautiful writer. And so she wrote, her list is gorgeous. It's like things like, and it's so interesting because actually when you think about writing your own list of this, I think a lot of us, they would be very similar.
Yeah.
And a lot of it for her is about nature. It would be for me too. But she writes about, I love autumn leaves. I love libraries. I love the way old men blow their noses in a way a novice might blow a tuba. I love the way dogs stare up at us, the way we stare at the moon. I love the chaos and freedom and disruption of street art. I love people who go on social media and tell strangers they're proud of them. I love knitters of beaners and bears. And it just is so beautiful the way that she writes about this. And then it encouraged me to literally write my own list. And I'm not going to go on about that. Maybe I'll put it in the Substack or something. But, for me, it was things like I said before about when Brent and I walked to have our drink at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, and the way the sky's changing with the trees behind it and the soil and the, you know, all those things, the smell of my
I
dog's
found
paws,
the
my
other-
kid's skin, like
The other day I walked out of our house and I went, oh, it smells like spring.
Yes.
That smell in the air where it changes.
the smell of the seasonal change. I love that. I love it when it tips into winter and you suddenly get that edge. Like, it's about noticing the little things, and we can call them glimmers. We can call it ore hunting. I think it's probably really useful, not as an escape, but as like a bolstering somehow. So we'll put a link in the show notes to Julia's beautiful piece about it. Her headline on it was, what are the tiny things in life that I love? I've made a list. And that's my
I love
recommendation.
that.
Gorgeous.
Before we go, we like to surprise each other. Little sprinkles, little glimmers even on this show. And so I thought I would just share something.
Oh, please tell me.
I am pregnant
Stop it!
Are you actually?
with twins.
No, you're not.
You're not. You're actually not.
I am.
You
No, you're
actually
not.
are.
No, you're not.
Are you serious?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Are you actually serious?
I have so much to tell you both that I have.
I'm like shaking. Stop.
You know, I'm so happy.
Quick thing. Firstly, told Maya.
Mm-hmm.
That woman is so excited.
Oh my God.
She
She's
would
so
be.
excited.
I'm surprised she still went away. She's going to have you on pregnancy
Well,
watch.
she needs to go away now because she's not going away for 10 years.
The chaos that is going to reign in your house for several years is just going to be the most fun.
Anyway, I was like 6-7 weeks whenever you go for the dating scan, and Luke had a big work crisis and he was pulled in. So I go to the scan on my own and I'm laying there and she does my stomach and then she goes, I'm going to do an internal one just to double check. And then
And you must have been really nervous because of what you've been through.
Yes. So she goes, I'm going to do an internal one. I'm going to have a little look. And then I'm going to tell you what I can see. And she just goes silent for like 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, this is not good news. Anyway, then she turns the thing around and she goes, there's your little baby with the heartbeat. And then she just moves it and goes, and there's another little baby with the heartbeat. And I just burst out in tears, like joy, shock. And so anyway, and then Luca, who's in the middle of this meeting, is going, do you check it? Is there a heartbeat? And I was like, is there a heartbeat? There are heartbeats. So I told him and it was just the funniest reaction. So told my mum, who you can imagine. I have a video telling mum, like she just lost it. Because I'm an identical twin, right? Now the way that works is the egg splits. I thought I was at no greater chance of having twins because it's a completely spontaneous thing that happens inside a
Oh, so that's not
genetic. Identical twins are not genetic. Fraternal twins are genetic.
Right.
And I'm an identical twin. My brothers are identical twins. And these, I have the lowest risk. So it's called di-di twins, which is they have their own sacs and their own placentas.
Oh, so they have their own little room.
They have their
So
own little rooms.
di-di twins means they're not going to be identical?
Well,
Mind you, you and your mum
Yes.
told you and Claire that you weren't identical
so
for
that
30
was the
years.
wisdom. For ages, everyone thought if you have your own sac and your own placenta, then that means you're fraternal. But what they've realized now is that about 30% of those actually are identical. They just split early, which is what happened to me.
So they are identical.
Well, we don't know
Oh.
until they're born, unless I find out that they're a boy and a girl, in which case they're not identical. And I haven't found out gender yet, but I know in my heart that it's two boys. I just know it. I know it. And Holly, how have you not noticed for the last?
Babe, I have noticed, but I'm not saying anything because I'm a grown-up. We went out for dinner the other week,
And I couldn't have a glass of wine.
but I know what you've been through, and I am not that person who goes, "Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant?" But in the back of my mind,
a little alarm bell.
I've been filing away. I think Jessie's pregnant, and I'm so happy for her, but I will be patient.
Because I have been disappearing. We have our meetings at 8:30.
Yeah.
And then I've been disappearing because I
You
eat
have, and I sit near Jessie.
11 meals a day. Like my appetite.
Because you're eating
has
for
been-
3 now.
I'm eating for 3. So I get up, I eat, I have 2 lunches, I have 3 dinners. It's just unbelievable.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling?
A little bit nauseous, but fine. So I am just about 12 weeks, hopefully.
Oh my God, Jessie. This is like
Gonna-
the best news.
Guys, I'm going to be so big. Can you imagine?
Oh my God, it's going to be great.
It's going to be
We're going to have
so
to reconfigure
funny.
this studio because she's going to be sitting all the way here and we're going to need a long arm mic.
It's incredibly daunting and it's like waking up at 2 a.m. going, how will I feed them? Wait, when will I sleep? Like, where will they sleep? Like, it's incredibly overwhelming.
When are they due?
They are due. So officially it's meant to be early April, but because twins come early, they have a earlier.
God, that's not
that
that
could
far
be March.
away.
It'll
That's
be
like
March.
going to be in 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Shit.
Yeah, we've got more little out louders coming.
Oh.
Thank you to all of you for being with us this week and for sharing Jessie's beautiful news with us. Jessie, thank our amazing team.
A big thank you to our team, our group executive producer, Ruth Devine, our executive producers, Emmeline Gazilis and Sasha Tanik.
Our senior audio producer is Leah Porges. Our video producer is Josh Green. Fun fact about Josh Green before we go. I've been getting my coffee from a new place. Speaking of glimmers and just things that make your life good, you know Josh Green goes every morning and just sits in a cafe and reads a book, paperback. Every morning I see him and I go, that's the most wholesome shit I have seen.
I love that.
You're doing life right, that man.
He's
Anyway,
also a really good drummer.
is he?
Yeah, he plays in a band.
This is the
Oh my
thing, like I
goodness.
want to be one of those people with lots of interests.
Yeah.
That seems like, what does he do at night? I bet he plays.
I bet.
He's doing so
plays
much at
drums.
night.
He doesn't scroll. He doesn't scroll. And our junior content producers are Coco and Tessa.
Goodbye on this glorious week.